You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
My bad, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now,
All
bud.
right, cool. I was muted, I guess. My bad. But yeah, so starting out here, we've got the top 25 and the bracket. So, Jared, we're at 5.
Yes.
What are your thoughts right now?
I mean, dude, we call that easy street spot. I mean, you got Arizona State, Boise State. I know they're not going to be pushovers, but I'm saying of all of the teams in the entire brackets, I mean, you know that these teams are the 12th and they are also then the 4th. They're going to be the winners of the MAC or then winners of the Mountain West, or Big 12 and then the Mountain West. I mean, I think it's just about as good as it's going to get, dude. I think we're all going to say it if you're a Penn State fan. I mean, thank you, Michigan, for coming to play on Saturday and completely ruining Ohio State's chances. Now, like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if they were going to be 6th or 7th. And where did they land? Number 6.
Yeah. Which, to be honest, I'm a tad bit surprised that they were that high. I was a little more, I was thinking more, I don't know, man. I just feel like after that, that is a horrendous loss that they had.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if you have a loss that bad, that you should definitely be like 10.
Yep.
If not 9. I mean, I don't think you deserve a home playoff game. If you're losing to a 6-5 team at home in the last game. I mean, that's just insane to me. So I don't understand that part of it. But at the same time, they were what, 8th?
Yeah, they'll be number 8 because of that ranking. Yep.
Yeah, so I have it rewound. I'm kind of rewatching it. I did watch it, but I was not on here, obviously.
Right.
Brett's gonna join us around 8:30, I would say.
Yep.
So that's when he's gonna come on. But yeah, so looking at, I'm just gonna pull it up here so I see the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah, so I just have the bracket kind of paused. All right, so 12 Arizona State, 5 Penn State. So right now, Arizona State will play at Penn State. And I still have my boy Gus up here because, just in case he wants to say anything.
Yeah, we're still waiting, bud.
And then we've got Ohio State, Tennessee at 8 and 9.
Yep.
Alabama, Notre Dame at 11 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana, Georgia at 10 and 7.
Yep.
Then you got 1 Oregon, 2 Texas, 3 SMU, 4 Boise. We are in the Boise bracket at 5.
Yep.
Ohio State's in the Oregon bracket at 1.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, man, like the way Ohio State is right now, I don't know if they beat Tennessee. But here's the thing. And I was talking to someone about this tonight. If we beat Oregon, might sound a little crazy, but if we beat Oregon, we're number one.
Yep.
I think that demoralizes Penn State. What's up, Illicit?
Hang on a sec.
I think that demoralizes Ohio State even more, to the sense that if we play them again, I think that we have learned, the right people have learned, that we could have won that game by at least a touchdown, probably.
Yep.
And then we have an Ohio State team who plays Tennessee, who I don't even know if they'll beat Tennessee. And then we have an Ohio State team who will be playing us after we beat Oregon, if they beat Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they'll come in a little timid. Now, it's Ohio State. I would never count them out. I would never pick them over us, that's for sure. Or pick us over them. But I just think this is going to be a different Penn State team, different Ohio State team. Because I think no matter what, man, if we beat Oregon, I think we're going to see them again. But so here's the thing. If we lose Saturday, then we're in a more favorable bracket. We're going to be in the easy bracket for sure. Yeah, now, I'm not guaranteeing wins against anybody, but, man, that's a heck of a path there. But the confidence that you would get, the respect that you would get, and the fact that you might be seeing Ohio State again, who, again, I think we would kind of have, whether it's on paper or not, but I think we kind of have the upper hand because of the confidence we would have and maybe the timidness, if you will, that they would have.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Well, remember, the issue is Texas only one, I think, could take the 5 seed from us. Yeah. But if we're at 6, then, that almost bumps out Alabama and Georgia from us, I think.
Right.
I think we would end up seeing Indiana, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Because that'll move everyone almost back. So Indiana would be 11.
Yeah.
If we lose the Big Ten title, depending on how everything else plays out, but I mean, there's a lot of factors here. Like, what if Texas loses to Georgia? So we'll just go through this right now, Jared. I don't know if you have the bracket pulled up, but
well, I have the ESPN set up where it's like you have the top 4, and then you have who plays who, and then winner plays who. Like, I'm kind of following it as they're like spelling it out for you.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we've got. Okay, so if we beat Oregon, we're 1. Oregon's 5.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to write this down. So I'm just going to write out literally the bracket on my on something here. So you're going to have, get a piece of paper here. So you're going to have, like, the way it's going to play out is if we beat Oregon, so all right, so if we beat Oregon, we're number 1.
Yep. Then that would make them technically play Arizona State. If they were to lose, wouldn't they go to the 5 spot?
Oregon would go to 5.
Yep.
And then you're going to have Boise at 4 no matter what.
Right.
Pretty much, unless they lose, which I don't think they will.
Or as they say Arizona State. Sorry, I meant Arizona if I said Boise.
And then you've got, okay, so if Texas wins, let's just say Texas loses, because I think they will.
Okay.
You got Georgia at 2, no matter what.
Yep.
And you're going to have Texas. I think our 2 losses are better than their 2 losses, so I think we still get 5. Or Oregon would get 5. Texas would definitely get 6 behind Oregon.
Yep.
Even like what Illicit said, like, I think even if we lose to Oregon, I think we still get 5, because I don't think there's any way Texas loses or jumps us, because they lost to Georgia twice. We lost to the number 1 team and Penn State and Ohio State. So
yeah,
Some people are saying we win, Texas wins, we get number 2. Don't make sense to me. No, because
No.
we're beating the consensus number 1, and our
Yeah.
only loss is Ohio State. So I disagree that, and I'm not saying Illicit's saying that. He's saying people are saying that, which that does not make sense. I think we're number 1 if we win, no matter what. Okay, then you're gonna have. All right. You'll have Notre Dame. Well, you're going to have Alabama at what, 7?
Yep.
Well, no, Notre Dame will get 6 no matter what. Or I'm sorry. Notre Dame will get next, so they'll be 7.
Right.
Notre Dame 7. Which again, like I said, man, the fact that Ohio State is still that high is just they should be like 10.
Listen, that's how they want to value Ohio State. They're never going to not disrespect them. They're always going to have them in the top 10, hell, even the top 8. They can't go below 8. I've never seen Ohio State below 8. I just think it's like somewhere written in a contract or something.
Ohio State will be 9 because who we beat, they lost to, so I think they'll be 9. Ohio State will be 9. I think Tennessee would be. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of eyeballing this right now, but I think Tennessee would jump Ohio State.
So I'm looking at the schedule.
We beat.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the championship schedules too. Like, so you have Iowa State and Arizona State this weekend at noon. What happens if Iowa State beats Arizona State? Does that matter at all?
Say that again.
If Iowa State beats Arizona State, do they then take their place at number 12?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean
if they get in, they may. I don't know. Are they the 5th conference? So yeah, they would get in regardless.
Yeah, they're the 5th conference. Yeah, they'd be number 12. 14, whatever that rank here, 15th. Yeah. Illicit said
no. I'm not sure what he said no to. There's a bit of a delay, Illicit. So. Yeah, whoever Big 12 champ is. Yeah, so they'll it won't matter is what he's saying no to.
Okay.
So it'll be either one. All right, so we got Penn State, Georgia, SMU, Boise, and then you're going to have Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame. And like I said, I think Ohio State loses their home spot because we beat who they lost to.
Yeah.
And they beat us.
Right.
So I think they move, but maybe not. I don't know.
Right. I mean,
it doesn't really matter. If we're number 1, it really doesn't matter because then we'll see them probably no matter what. And then you got. I don't think Indiana moves.
Right.
And then you got. I think.
From what it sounds like, I mean, I'm not trying to interrupt you or anything, but yeah, I'm not trying to interrupt you or anything. So what you have is it what they're saying is either the loser of the Big Ten championship will get the 5th spot? Is that what we're looking at, or does it really matter about like SEC or ACC, or did they say whoever wins that, do they get the 5th spot? Or will they judge it based on like the worst loss, loser of the whoever gets?
Well, the 1, 2, 5, and 6 is Big Ten, SEC champs and losers. Yeah, so yeah, it's the 5 highest conference winners, Jared. So it could be the MAC if they're higher ranked. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
it's not going to happen this year, but that's the thing about the playoff is you have to, first of all, you have to win your conference. That's first and foremost.
Right.
And then what it does is it almost makes every team in every conference need to do better because the better your conference is, the better your seeding is. So if you're the MAC and you're like undefeated and you have a bunch of good MAC teams, the higher you're going to be ranked. I mean, I think it's possible that we will see like a MAC team be like in the playoff at some point. Like, whoever that might be, because it could happen. You could have a bad conference year. Big 12, who's the Big 12 have that's like dominating right now?
Outside Arizona State
conference. So yeah, like BYU, Colorado, Arizona State, that's about it.
Yep.
Iowa State's been up there the past few years, but
yep.
So pretty much what it's going to come down to is I think we see, and Alyssa, you give your top 12, your bracket for
Yeah, please.
next Sunday. What do you think will happen? What will it look like? But I think it's going to be, if we win, it's Penn State, Georgia beats Texas, SMU no matter what,
Yep.
Boise no matter what.
Yep.
And then it's going to be Oregon 5, Texas 6, Notre Dame 7. I do think Ohio State moves back one because the team they lost to us, who they beat. But then again, maybe it's they beat us and we won the Big Ten title, so then they'll stay. It's wishful thinking, but they'll probably stay at 8.
Right.
Yeah, and then it's pretty much the same, I think, after that. It's Tennessee. It's going to be Indiana. It doesn't move. Indiana plays Notre Dame.
Yep.
Alabama plays Texas. And Arizona State, whoever, plays 5. So
Yep.
I think that's what it's going to look like next Sunday because I think we win. And I just don't think Texas is like, dude, how is Texas going to beat Georgia? I just don't see it happening, man. Like, they're not an SEC team yet. You know what I mean? Like, they've been in the SEC 1 year. Georgia eats, sleeps, and breathes SEC title games.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirby Smart,
man, that's where it's at.
Kirby Smart's played more SEC title games in his sleep than Texas has played in their whole history. So,
yeah,
that's a thing. You know what I mean? So, maybe I'm getting this wrong just looking at it right now. I'm still, so I had the flu, and then I found out last night that developed into an ear and sinus infection. So I'm on medications now, thank God. Taking a steroid and an antibiotic, so I feel better, but I'm still like sick. So my brain is probably not, a little fogged up still, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but,
no doubt, dude.
So again, we've got Penn State at 1.
Yes.
Georgia 2, because they're over Texas. SMU 3.
Yep.
Boise 4. Now, if SMU loses, I think they're still, maybe Arizona State gets in the top 4. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's kind of, either way, it's a lesser team in those 2 spots.
Yes.
And then you're going to have Oregon at 5, Texas 6, Notre Dame 7, because everyone essentially moves down a spot pretty much.
Yeah.
And then I guess Ohio State will stay at 8. I mean, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. And then we got Tennessee. Okay, Ohio State 8, Tennessee 9, Indiana 10, no matter what, Alabama 11, and then Arizona State 12. So you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 Big Ten teams. 1, 2, 3, 4 SEC teams. A non-conference, a Big 12, the Mountain West, and then Arizona State's what? What conference are they?
They're Big 12. Arizona State, Big 12.
What's SMU?
SMU's, aren't they ACC? Yeah, I think SMU's ACC, bud. Because they take on Clemson.
Okay, so
yeah,
never mind. It's going to be Clemson at 3.
Yeah.
Which
I
don't know how the Big 12. How isn't the Big 12 in the top 4?
That's the one that's left out. I mean, Mountain West is 4th, and then the ACC is 3rd, SEC is 2nd, and Big 10 is 1st. Yeah, so you're having either Oregon or Penn State, number 1. You're going to have either Texas, Georgia, number 2, SMU or Clemson, number 3, Boise State, number 4, and the winner of the Big 12, which is Arizona State or Iowa State, number 5 or 12, whatever. Yeah.
All right, so you're going to have, hold on.
Yep.
All right, so we've got all right, so the Big 12 will be at 3 because Clemson's going to win.
Okay.
Clemson's going to win and be 9 or 10-3. I think they'll go to 12. And then you're going to have Arizona State most likely at 3, which doesn't really change much. I don't think Clemson goes. If Clemson wins, I don't think they get in over an Arizona State team, but maybe they do. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're looking at losses, so I would say Clemson's at 12, Arizona State's at 3. I think we beat Clemson. Clemson is just not as good as they were.
Right.
So those are the only two things that kind of move around there.
Yeah.
So again, you guys. Okay, so I could throw a wrench in. Yeah, ACC,
Yeah.
unless UNLV wins.
UNLV. Is that the MAC? No.
They're the Mountain West.
Okay. Oh, right. They play at Boise State. You're right. That's true.
By the way, Yahoo should be made illegal. That is the worst search engine of all time. Jesus, man. Between that and Google, it's like not even close.
Yeah.
So we got Boise State could lose to UNLV. Then yeah, UNLV will get in. If they beat Boise State, they're going to be 4. I don't think they're not going to be top 4. There's no way, because that conference, man, it's pretty good. Their fourth team is their 4th and 5th teams are 6-6 and 7-5. Like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
They have 11-1, 10-2, 8-4. Like, that's a pretty good conference.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that really throws much of a wrench in things, Illicit.
Yeah.
You know, I think really what you're looking at here is pretty much, I think, what I think will happen.
Right.
Okay, so let's say, all right, Oregon beats us, right?
Yes.
We're at 5. All right, so I'm going to rewrite this here.
So let me ask you this question. Not to throw what you're about to say in a wrench, but what happens if we do lose? Does the committee then consider Ohio State over us?
No.
Because if you here's the thing.
Well, they shouldn't.
You think of the 2 losses. Think of the 2 losses. Our losses would be Oregon and them. How can they have Ohio State under us if they beat us?
Because they lost to Michigan.
But
it's such a shitty loss.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying, I think that is kind of like the thinking that the committee might throw it in, where it's like, well, the Penn State's 2 losses are against a team that they beat. Like, how, again, I just feel like that's a good point to bring up. How can you have a team that's ahead of you that lost to you? Like, that makes sense to me, where it's like, we both lost to Oregon. That would be the thing that would be the comparison. We both lost to Oregon.
I know what you're saying, and do you think it's because they'll be biased?
Well, I mean, that's the only argument I would say they would have over Ohio State. We'll still be ahead of Indiana, but we will. What I'm saying is there's a possibility that Ohio State takes that 5th spot despite not being in that Big Ten championship, because, again, they chose, the win-loss thing with 2016 was the fact that we won the Big Ten championship, but they chose Ohio State because we had just one more loss than they did. I'm just saying they have found ways to kind of get around this, where it's like, shouldn't that have mattered? Apparently not, because one of our losses was to them. Or was to Michigan, or what? Like, we had more losses than them, and it was to Michigan, or was it Iowa? Who was the other loss in 2016? I forgot who that was.
Michigan and Pitt.
Oh yeah, right. We lost at the beginning of the season. Yeah, I remember that. You're right. That was a high-scoring game too. Yeah,
that was a horrible loss. God, that sucked. And then 10 is.
Yeah, so no matter what, even if we lose the game, we are going to be on the 5th spot. Illicit, that's what he's saying. Okay. So good. This isn't a discussion. I'm just saying, wherever Ohio State goes, I mean, I personally understand the logic, because again, their name is Ohio State. That's the argument they're trying to not say, but that's what the committee is basically telling us. The reason why they're 6th right now is because they are Ohio State.
I mean, maybe SMU beats Clemson. I don't know. It's just Clemson's like been such a powerhouse recently. But all right, so this is what I have if we lose. Got Oregon 1, Georgia 2, 3 Arizona State, 4 Boise, 5 us, 6 Texas, 7 Notre Dame, 8 OSU, 9 Tennessee, Indiana 10, Bama 11, Clemson 12. So we're going to see Clemson and Boise. I think we beat Clemson. And then it's going to be PSU, Boise, OSU, Oregon, Bama. I don't know. I think Bama beats, well, I don't know. I'd say Texas beats Bama.
Yep.
Notre Dame probably beats Indiana. So you're going to have PSU, Boise. It's going to be PSU. Probably Oregon. Screw Ohio State. I hope.
Yeah.
Screw your team and your whole freaking existence. Texas and Georgia. And then probably
rematch.
Georgia. And we're going to see Oregon again. So, again, I think we win. So it could be us and Georgia in the national title. But, man, do we beat Georgia? I don't think so. So,
I mean, I know that Kirby Smart, he has his, what is it? Like, he has his resume. I understand that it's all about the coaching right now. That's like, what is the thing that holds us back all the time? It's like play calling and what he wants to prepare for. And yeah, I mean, Kirby Smart obviously has way better resume than James Franklin does. That's really where it comes down to. We're going into this 12-game bracket with the potential for James Franklin to not give us something to be happy about or not. Like, I don't know. I feel like we must rely more on what they want to do in terms of, what is it? Like, if you have to change the play within the, game, like, that's the thing. Like, we might have to do a lot of that, in play stuff, like, throw it to whoever, give it off to Singleton. I mean, it's really just about like matchups. Like, what is it about Georgia, dude, for you that you think that Singleton and Allen could not like get through, or we don't have the line? Is that it? I mean, is it a weak line that Georgia will expose, or what?
It's just Georgia, an SEC team. Franklin would literally roll over if we played Georgia. I think he would literally be standing there on the sideline like he always does. He would just be like looking around.
Right.
I mean, he'd be like, who is this team that we're playing? He wouldn't even know what to do. It would be like the coach from Waterboy, like sitting there on the sideline, petting a football, writing up a play on the chalkboard, whispering to Kirby Smart, thinking he's a baby. Literally, I mean, he just wouldn't. There's just no way, man, that
he faked to his left.
I said, I think we can beat Oregon. I think Ohio State beats Oregon if they play again, but then again, maybe not.
Right.
But I just don't think Georgia. Like, dude, there's no way we're beating Georgia. But I could be wrong.
Right.
Yeah, like Alyssa just said, Georgia's a toss-up. Hypothetically speaking, maybe we could beat them. I mean, you don't really know.
Who are the two losses
I guess
that
we
Georgia has?
We would have a shot, sure. Huh?
Right.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I'm saying, what was two Georgia's losses to?
Like, they lost to Bama and they lost to Bama and let me think.
Ole Miss.
Yeah, they have some bad losses. Same with Bama. Their losses are horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bama, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, they had a shootout again. Thank you, Alyssa. Yeah. So, I mean, you
they
had
lost
Alabama.
To a bad Bama team. I mean, this is not a good Bama team.
Right, they were 13th ranked when they played them. Yeah, so I mean it was 41-34, and I had the scores up now. I mean, Ole Miss beat them 28-10. So I mean, yeah, they were 2 road losses. I mean that is something you also got to think about too. They didn't lose a single game at home. I mean, who knows? I feel like where is the national championship again? I forgot.
Where is it?
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. Somewhere we're probably going to lose, depending on who we play.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bama lost to Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, and Tennessee.
Oklahoma? Didn't Alabama lose to Oklahoma?
Vanderbilt, and is it Tennessee they lost to?
Yes, they lost to Tennessee.
So their losses are bad, like really bad.
They are. Yeah.
I mean, they shouldn't even be in the playoff, in my opinion.
They should not. But that's what they want. They would rather have, a 3-loss Alabama over what is the rankings again?
Like, I get it, man. It's Alabama, but man, come on now. Like, they're just so again, if we they can see my mouse. Okay, so if we lose, Oregon is 1, we're 5. Nothing here really changes except like Clemson's in.
Yeah.
Georgia's here. Texas is at 6. This is pretty much the same except Clemson. And then you got Notre Dame 7.
Yep.
This stays the same, I think. And then you've got Indiana 10, Bama 11, whoever at 12. Yeah, the national championship is in Atlanta.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh! If we have to play Georgia in Atlanta, wow, that's
like I don't think it really matters. I mean, do you think we're not going to travel? That whole stadium's going to
no, but at the same time, it's like, dang, that's just like the most that's like when we faced the Rose Bowl in USC. It's like, geez, that's their freaking field.
The only advantage they have is that they're at home pretty much. They don't have to travel. But geez, we're going to Atlanta. It's like what, 3-hour flight maybe?
Maybe.
I don't even know what it would be, but it's
right.
It's not that far, but yeah, that is an advantage, I'd say. So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be realistically thinking, man. I think we beat Georgia, but then again, who do we run into, man? Who do we run into? And Illicit said one thing that he said they need to factor in with us is the fact we played 13 games, they played 12, and they have 2 losses. We have 2 losses with 13 games, not 12.
Yeah.
So freaking Timmy from South Park plays better at home.
I mean, so the only thing, if we're looking at this particular bracket right now as is, like, I think what you have here, okay, so let's just go through it. I'm going to say Ohio State and Tennessee. Ohio State wins that game. They play Oregon for a third straight time. Or second straight time, and I think, Oregon would probably beat them again. That's just my opinion, because, again, I would trust Oregon's quarterback, Gabriel, over Howard any day. And we take on Arizona State. We beat them. I'm not saying, we're going to blow them out, but, we'll win that game. Maybe touchdown and a field goal, like, by 10. I think that would be respectable. Yeah, so then we would go on against Boise State, take them on, and we would have to face Oregon and see who goes to the national championship. And what you then have after that.
So, pretty much you're saying that, like, repeat what you said, just so I...
Yeah, well, I'm saying, like, so we saw the bracket there. We saw Tennessee and Ohio State. Ohio State wins, and they go and play Oregon again. Oregon beats them again. So that's their representative. And we faced Arizona State. We beat them by 10. Play Boise State. I think that would be a very good matchup again. And we probably win by a touchdown. We get to that championship game or the semifinal against Oregon. And after that, it would be Miami and who do they play again? Georgia or... It was number
So,
11
well,
versus number 11 versus number
Miami
6.
Miami deservedly is out. I mean, I don't think they should be in at all.
Right. No, I
Um,
mean, hold on. I'm trying to bring up that bracket. Yeah, so like what you have here with Notre Dame and Alabama. Yeah, number 11 versus number 6. Yeah, so Alabama, I think, would lose to Notre Dame, plays to SMU. Indiana, Georgia. Georgia wins. They play Texas. Yeah, so I would say Notre Dame does beat SMU. Georgia, of course, would beat Texas. And then you have Georgia and Notre Dame in that semifinal. I mean, again, you're talking about anything could happen. What if we have Penn State against Notre Dame in the national championship? We do not know how Notre Dame would favor against anybody. Because, again, they really don't have anybody on their schedule. So, I mean, I understand they lost to who did they lose to? It was a really bad team. Some random school.
Notre Dame?
Yes.
Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois, yeah. Could you imagine that? A team that lost to Northern Illinois could somehow make it to the national championship. If I'm Northern Illinois, I'd be like, we beat the national championship contender.
Do you actually think that they can make it that far?
I mean, honestly, dude, I really don't know how to measure Notre Dame right now. I mean, outside of who they played, it's like when you don't play a conference and you don't have a conference championship game, you never know. Because, again, they may have play calls that Georgia is not prepared for. Like, they may have a line that Georgia can't respond to. I mean, I'm just saying it would be very interesting to see somehow if Notre Dame were to upset Georgia and then they go on to the championship match. Like, I'm saying we do have a shot if we can beat Oregon, which is what they have. I know they've had some pretty spotty, like, games outside of their one. They don't have a single loss, but like they struggled against certain teams, and I feel like Oregon is beatable. I don't think they're like the Titans of the, everything. Like there's no Titan in the national championship picture. Like everybody has a chance to be beaten. They have weaknesses.
Even Oregon's not.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're not Titans. Like, so, I mean, they do have weaknesses. It's just a question of can we expose that? Like, can Singleton and Allen just run all over their defensive line or outside, their edge rushers? Like, who knows what we have that they don't? Could Aller somehow just have a day and, like, just use Tyler Warren all day long? I don't know. I'm very interested to see what their matchups will be because I think I saw, like, what is it, the FPI thing like they show on ESPN. They showed that Oregon's still favored by 3.5, but this FPI percentage says that Penn State has a 56% chance of beating them. So whatever is happening as the week goes on, it's like Penn State is slowly building momentum in the sense like they could very well like switch that over where it's like by the time they play them, like they could be a 2-point favorite against Penn State or a 1.5. So I'm saying that there is a lot to get excited about for Penn State because they've got so many things going for them. And I don't know. I feel like Oregon is finally going to have to show up. Like, I'm not saying like 54% chance on FPI. So thank you.
It's against Oregon?
Yeah, against Oregon. We're like they said that we have an FPI 54% chance of beating them. So I feel like we have so much going for it. Like the only thing I think is a weakness for Penn State, dude, is their offensive line. Like, it's not like as elite or as good as, probably Oregon's is, but I mean.
First of all, listen, they're Oregon. Their mascot is a duck. I mean, who cares what they think?
We'll cook them.
Yeah, a Nittany Lion would freaking tear a duck apart. My God.
Yes.
If you go to ESPN under rankings, all the FPI odds for the championships. All right, so I'm gonna look that up, illicit. Is it? What would that be? Would that be stats maybe, or is it rankings? SP is it? Oh, Football Power Index.
FPI rankings.
All right, so we've got all conferences. We've got Texas. ranks 1. Notre Dame is 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know exactly how to read this, but Alyssa, where is the oh shoot, sorry, it's not even pulled up. Where is the matchups, Alyssa? Odds under win conference.
Could be.
Okay. So Oregon has a 46. We have a 53. So yeah, that makes sense. Georgia has 39. Wow, that's a big. That is a big
Yeah.
difference there.
Yeah, they're saying Texas has a 60.1 FPI chance of beating Georgia. I mean, I don't know if that is.
SMU has. I just said Emson.
You did say Emson.
SMU has Clemson. 50. SMU's 53. Clemson's 46. You've got Tulane 66.
Well, according to this, Iowa State has taken Arizona like 55% or 54 point whatever. My goodness.
I think Arizona's too hot right now that they're not gonna. UNLV has 31% over
Boise,
right?
Yep.
Where is Boise? How low are they?
Oh, there it is. You just passed them. You went up. Go up, bud. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I think they're
Right
getting there.
68-31. Good Lord.
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy. But we are. So I guess overall we are 9th.
Yep.
Ohio State's 3, dude.
So, but
whatever,
again,
man.
so what I'm hearing is,
I just
so
don't
say
get
what
it. They're, yeah.
but like, so the only one that really matters. So the only one that really matters about championships is who wins the Mountain West and the Big 12. Because if I'm hearing this right, from what Alyssa's telling and what you're saying, is the SEC, the Big 10, and the ACC will just switch each other. Like whoever's ranked wherever. Like, because I'm saying we're third and Oregon's first. If we beat them, then we go to first, they go to third, and then they go to the 5th spot. And then whoever, like Georgia and Texas, would just switch each other. Georgia would be the number 2 team if they beat Texas, and Texas would swing down to wherever Georgia's at. Or at the 6th. Yeah, so Texas would go to 6th, right? And play Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
For whoever's playing, whoever's playing Alabama or whoever was in the, I need that bracket up.
Yep, we're pretty much. They're gonna flip flop pretty much.
Yeah. So again, like I'll read it off again. Sorry, bud. So we would go to 1, and then Oregon would go to 5, and then you would have Georgia go to number 2. And they play Indiana. Texas would play Indiana instead of Georgia. So we would just flip everything. Like, I think that's pretty much how it would be read. And I think the only thing that would change is, or not change, no matter what, is that Notre Dame would stay number 6.
If we lose and Georgia wins,
okay,
we're at 5. Texas is at 6, and then Notre Dame 7. Pretty much, it's guaranteed that Notre Dame's gonna move down 1 spot. They're gonna play.
Okay.
Notre Dame's gonna play Indiana. I think that's pretty much a lock at this point.
Okay.
And I think Notre Dame beats Indiana, but
yeah. So the winner of the Big 12 is either Iowa State or Arizona State, and they will always stay at 12, right? That will never move.
Say that again.
Well, the Big 12 championship between Arizona State and Iowa State, whoever wins that will just stay at number 12. That will not move, right?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, and then you flip the other way. It's a Mountain West. It's like, so Boise State and UNLV, it's like if UNLV upsets Boise State, then they go to 4. And that's going to stay, and they'll always stay at 4. Like I'm saying, like,
just said, yeah, that's what people are saying. It sounded like to them, if you lose your conference, can't move down, so Georgia would fall below Notre Dame. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's really what it's sounding like, because it sounds like Notre Dame doesn't move. Because if
So
they don't
Texas
have a
will be
championship,
at 7 then? Is that what?
that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm looking at with this bracket. So we're currently. So this is how it's structured right now. But I'm saying, if let's just hypothetically throw out everyone who is favored against their championship game loses. So if we beat Oregon, okay, they're currently 1 and we're 5. We would go to number 1. They would go to number 5. And currently, the SEC championship is Texas and Oregon, and they're 2 and 7. And Texas is second, and Georgia is 7th. If Georgia upsets Texas, or they beat them, then they go to 2, and Texas goes to 7th.
Well, I think based off what you're saying, Texas is going to win. So it's going to be Penn State, Texas.
Yeah.
Whoever, 3, 4.
Yep.
Oregon 5. Notre Dame 6. Georgia 7. Ohio State 8. Tennessee 9.
Well, let's take a look at this. Like all the teams in the championship, all the teams in the championships. So SMU takes on Clemson, correct? In the ACC. SMU takes on Clemson in the ACC, correct?
Yes.
Right. And Clemson is not on this list.
No, but
right? They're not. Okay. So what it's sounding like is, you have right now the SEC and the Big Ten have those two teams that are in the championship game in this top 12 in the bracket. But the ACC and the Mountain West and the Big 12 do not have the other teams. The teams that they're playing in the championship, they're not in those brackets. So I'm saying it looks like Big 10 and SEC, if you're in a championship game, you are not essentially losing your spot. You're either going to go to the spot that they're at, or you're going to stay where you're at.
If Texas loses, they can't fall below Notre Dame, like Alyssa said. Georgia loses, they can't fall, which means I think they'll be at 7, but Notre Dame's still 6. But overall, looking at the bigger picture, if Notre Dame stays where they are, and
so
Georgia
you would
plays
say that
Indiana,
right? So what you're saying is, if Texas loses, then Georgia goes to 2nd, Notre Dame would go to 7th, and Texas would go to 6th. Okay.
And I think Texas can beat Bama. I think Bama, they're not good right now.
Right.
It's not a good
team.
Here's
the thing that's interesting about a team like Tennessee. So they don't play in the SEC championship. And so right now what it is 8, 9, and 10.
If SMU loses, they're not getting in the playoff at all.
Right. So then it would be Clemson then that would take their place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll go to 3rd no matter what. Yeah, that's the only way they're getting into the championship.
That's it.
That's the only way they're getting into the bracket is if they go to 3rd.
Yeah, so it'd be Big 12 could take the 4, Boise 3, Clemson 12. Yeah, I think if Clemson beats SMU, they're 12. If SMU beats Clemson, they're staying where they're at.
Okay.
No matter what.
Okay.
If SMU wins, they're not moving.
Okay.
But then they're going to run into Notre Dame or Alabama, pretty much guaranteed. But here's the thing, man. Alabama, in my opinion, shouldn't be in at all.
No, I agree completely.
They shouldn't be in at all.
No.
Totally should not be in at all.
Ole Miss is left out. They beat Ohio State. Or they beat Ohio State. They beat Alabama. I mean, that's weird.
Ole Miss, hold on. Ole Miss, 9-3,
they lost to
Alabama.
Kentucky. I know they got a worse loss.
Well, I don't know, man. They lost to Florida. Yeah, they do have some very bad losses. Kentucky.
They do.
And they lost to, their losses are worse than Bama's. I mean,
yes.
Because, looking at is it FPI? Yeah, so, which is total stupid stuff in my opinion.
Right.
But Oklahoma is high. Oklahoma is actually below Kentucky and LSU on FBI.
Yeah.
Okay, so they lost to Kentucky and LSU. Alabama lost to Oklahoma. Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Which is a joke. And
So,
you're right. Ole Miss should be in. technically.
Right.
They have some bad losses, but FBI rankings, their losses are better.
Right.
Even Florida's 3.
Yeah.
And they
That's
suck.
the thing. They're third, fifth, and sixth that they've lost to. All 3 of their losses. And yeah, so you're talking Vanderbilt is going to like beat up on Florida? I don't know about that.
Or Bama should 100% be out. I mean, the only reason I think they're not out is because they have Jalen Monroe. They're Bama.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Bama.
they based off what they've done for the past 15 years, they deserve to get treatment, better preferential treatment. They do.
Right.
Even more so than Ohio State, man. Ohio State won a title in 2014, and Bama has been a freaking powerhouse since 2010, pretty much.
Yeah.
They pretty much won from 2010 till like last year.
Okay.
They were like the national champions, for like 8 years out of those 15 years?
They've always been in the championship, yeah.
Their fans have traveled. Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is what it's all about. I mean, you're trying to bring everybody else in, but at the end, it's just like teams like Penn State who travel, Ohio State who obviously travel. You're always looking at those teams that have fan bases that are going to fill the stadium and make a lot of money. I mean, again, it worked.
That's total BS. That's a factor. But yeah, that's why it says that Bama should be in. Now, Ole Miss, I think they would fill up the stadium too, but Bama is just like they're on a whole other level.
Right.
15 years of just domination. I mean, they got some pretty diehard fans.
Yes.
And that's what makes Penn State so special. They have the best fan base in football. And
of course.
What have we done? We haven't won a national title in 40 years.
96,
16,
38,
30 some, almost 40 years. I mean, that's and we still have the most. And again, like every year we lose to Ohio State or Michigan or whoever, we lose to these teams that we should we lose to teams that we're not supposed to beat. And it's like at what point as fans for Penn State do you stop filling up a stadium and say enough is enough? We're not supporting this coach anymore until we get something else in there. Yeah, you really have to ask yourself that as a fan. Like, when is enough enough? Because it's going to get to that point, I think.
I mean, listen.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, knock on wood, it's redeemed this year.
Yeah. I'm just saying, okay, so there's one thing if you go talk about Joe Pa and how he'd been a head coach and all that. You're talking about every 5-7 years, there would be a class that would go to the NFL draft that's like, wow, they're actually producing NFL caliber players. Now, defense is always going to be one of the things that you talk about with Big Ten or Penn State going into the NFL. Like, there's always defensive players for Penn State. I get that. But you're looking at the James Franklin era and how they've gone to the NFL. I actually would like to think we do have more offensive numbers and guys in the NFL over the defense right now. Like, he's been there for 12 years now. And in his 12 years, I think that, you just take a look at every tight end, every running back, and every wide receiver, like soon to be quarterback, because I think Drew Eller is going to be an NFL quarterback. Like, we're talking about a lot of dudes that's like, Gesicki is right now with the Bengals. Freiermuth is a Steeler. I mean, and that Warren is going to be.
I think no matter what, Aller's coming back.
Yeah. Oh,
absolutely. Even if he wins the national
championship,
championship, he's still coming back.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, if you look at, like, all the years that Joe was our head coach or Bill O'Brien was our head coach, we were always sending defensive players to the NFL. With Franklin, it's actually, I think, the opposite. I mean, I know we have Micah Parsons and we have certain names out there that are defensive players, but I'm thinking in my head, it's like, wow, there's a lot of offensive names. Saquon Barkley, hello. He is right now considered the MVP of the NFL. Like, that's pretty impressive how James Franklin, regardless of what he's given us for championships or national championships or lack thereof, like, he has produced a lot of really good NFL names. Like, I'm looking at Joe Pa's history with guys that have gone to the NFL, even if they're national champions. Like, name me a guy from, like, the Joe Pa era that it's like, then they went to the Super Bowl. It's like, how many rings does a Penn State player have? Or like, how many appearances do they have with a championship team or gone to the NFL or gone to the Super Bowl? It's like, I think right now it's like there's a lot of dudes that are always in that conversation from Franklin's guys. Like you have Jahan Dotson right now as the Eagle. You have there's just so many guys that I could think of in the last 5 to 7 years that came from Penn State's offensive team. And it's just like, man, it's pretty impressive what they have been able to accomplish getting into the NFL. And they've put up great numbers. I mean, Godwin is a buck. We had one just recently. He was a Ram, and then he came.
We had Jahan Dotson, Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson is pretty.
That was it. Allen Robinson was a Steeler at one point. I'm just saying, there's a lot of names from. Sorry, I'm reading the list.
TSU lineman.
I'm trying to think of that myself.
I mean, it's not Wisniewski, is it? He's out.
No. I'm like, yeah, I'm blanking right now again on that name. But yeah, I'm just saying what you're talking about, getting Penn State into this conversation with national championship. I mean, Tyler Warren is a future, NFL player. Aller is a future NFL player. Singleton and Allen should be.
All who's on the Jets. Illicit.
Yes. Yep, you're right.
Go ahead, Jared. Sorry.
No, I'm saying, like, I'm looking at right now a lot of these names for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Like, man, these guys can produce like a lot of like NFL draft future picks. Like, they're going to be first, second round options. Like, I think this will be one of the best classes that is going to go into the NFL draft, if not next year, the year after. Like you're saying, like, I think all these guys are coming back next year, but when they go, I mean, dang, dude. I mean, you're going to hear like Penn State's name at least 6 or 7 times in the first 2 rounds with their guys. Like, this is a team that will produce a lot of things. So I do believe out of all the classes they have accumulated throughout the years, this right here is the best class James Franklin has ever had as a group together. So there's no reason why they can't go far in the playoffs. Like, they have absolutely shown so many great like numbers in terms of like what Big Ten tight end of the year, like he had 5, he's going to have the yards in this Big 10 championship game against Oregon. He's going to have it. Tyler Warren. I mean, Singleton will be going for like the most rushing yards for over, Evan Royster or Saquon Barkley. Like, there's so many guys that have things coming for them. If not this year, the next year. It's pretty special, dude. So I feel like out of all the years we've seen Penn State get into the championship or the bracket, this would definitely be the best opportunity they have.
Yeah. 22 class, one of the best classes Penn State's ever had, if not the best.
Yes.
Best under James Franklin, which is a testament to him for sure.
Right.
And his coaching staff, all of his coaches he's recruited too.
Yep.
And their transfer portal guys. I would think he would do better in the portal, but we have 3 projected first rounders in the latest draft projection.
Yeah.
I know Warren and Abdul. Who's the third one? Kevin Winston, who is coming back, but
yeah,
I would think. But who's the third one? Illicit.
Are they saying if Aller were to go, or
no? He's not a first round pick.
Okay.
No, that's why he should come back, because right now he's like a 4th rounder, maybe third.
I'll be generous and say late second. Where did Christian Hackenberg go?
Really? Aller's a first round projected.
See, I told you that.
Right now? That is what the hell?
See, I told you. I mean, dude, I feel like we have got as good as opportunity. Like, if you're talking about like what do we have ahead of us? Like, outside of Oregon, we're going to find out how good we are against Oregon. If we beat Oregon, I mean, who else? Like, give me any other team. Like, the only 2 teams I can say that right now I would feel like really concerned about playing is Georgia or Notre Dame. I don't know what we would look like against those 2 teams. I feel like Texas, we would be able to handle them defensively. A team like Tennessee, I think we could outmatch them offensively. I think we could go back and forth and win a shootout against them. That's the thing about this, dude. We're talking about why these teams are here. And I feel like the reason why all these teams are here is because they have different ways of winning. Like, can they win ugly? Can they win with their kicker? Can they win like scoring a pick six? They win like again in a shootout where your quarterback has to be able to throw 300 plus yards and 3 touchdowns? Like, that's the thing with Penn State, dude. Our run game is one of the scariest that you can have. Our tight end is like just absolutely first round, bound. And it's like, again, our kicker, Barker, I very much trust what he can do just to get us 3 points. Like, it's a lot going for them right now. So, yeah, I feel like Georgia and Notre Dame are the only 2 teams out of any team in this bracket that it's like, I feel like we could beat anybody else. So we should see, I would love to see Penn State take on Georgia in the national championship. That would be pretty darn awesome.
Who is this according to, Illicit, that Aller's the first round pick? I'd really like to know what they're smoking. Shoder Sanders at 2 is an absolute joke.
That is an absolute joke.
Cam Ward at 3 is an absolute joke.
I have to put him at 5 or 6.
The first receiver off the board. Are you kidding me right now?
That guy, we want to know what he's smoking.
Abdul Carter.
Ashton Gentry would be 13th.
Dude, how in God's name would Aller be a first round pick? There's no way in God's green earth that would happen.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, based off this one, I would say this is not right at all.
I don't even see him going in the second round. Who said he was a projected first round pick? Yeah, he said he saw it the other day. I wonder who it was that said that. Because, I mean, you could look up like 2027 mock drafts right now. Like, that's how far ahead they go.
That's nuts.
Let's look up 2026. Well, hold on. Arch Manning probably be the number 1 pick. NFL Draft 2026 mock. Thank you, Google, for not sucking.
Yeah.
Arch Manning. Number 1.
Hypothetically,
Ruben Payne Jr.
Okay.
Caden Proctor. Garrett Nussmeier. Nussmeier at freaking 5.
Yeah.
4. Are you kidding me? Caleb Downs, that makes sense.
Cameron Williams.
Denzel Boston, are you serious?
Denzel, I saw that. Denzel Boston.
We're going to suck in 2026 or 2025, so we got 12th pick. Are you serious? Not a single Penn State guy in the first round? What a joke.
I doubt that.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Where the hell is 17?
I think it's right. Yeah. I think you clicked on it again.
Yeah. It's such an odd setup.
It is. You serious? We won't have a single first rounder next year? That's a joke. No. That's, yeah.
Carnell Tate.
Carnell Tate. Wow.
Dude, the other day, our boy Gus here. Gus, you have anything to say, by the way? Still don't want to talk?
Still don't want to talk.
The other day, Gus was talking about Carnell Tate and how amazing he was. He's like, he's got to own an NFL team someday. Just a great guy.
Yeah.
Amazing person. And then the next play, he like drops a wide open pass. It's like, Gus, shut up.
Hey,
Gus.
That's what they want to think. Whatever, right?
Gus, if you suck, don't say anything.
Right.
All right. Gus, if you love Ohio State, don't say anything. All right. He's worse than Kirk Herbstreit. Like, Jared, you know why I hate Kirk Herbstreit.
I think you had said, but you can remind me.
Well, he says people say he's a closet Penn State fan, and he's not. He's a moron, and he's two-faced, and he's shady as hell.
Yeah.
He hates Penn State. He doesn't like Penn State at all. He's extremely biased. I mean, all you got to do is watch the 2020 or the 2009 Rose Bowl game against USC. From like midway through the first quarter, him and Musburger were just talking about how great USC was. I mean, he sucks. He sucks. I want to say it was ESPN or CBS, but it was a legit. Yeah, probably ESPN, because ESPN doesn't know what they're talking about. They have Mina Kimes covering the NFL.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about ESPN. You ever look at their like high school rankings? They must put like $2,000 a year into that. Like, there's no budget for power rankings in football, high school football. For ESPN. It's horrible. Like, they had Drew Aller at like 40 in his class, and he was number one quarterback in his class. I mean, it was horrible. But I've seen others, and Aller is down on others. LOL, he got dogged for his end call for Michigan-Ohio State game. Yeah, he said Michigan doesn't cheat this time. Gus, what do you have to say about that? Anything? You still mad about the Ohio State loss? Still mad about that? Doesn't look happy.
I mean, I don't understand how you're allowed to just voice your opinion, and you can hear that on the commentating. Like, how are you not allowed to just be ripped off the airways? You know, it's like like anybody gets penalized. It's like, yeah, they're suspended for games. It's like, why can't you be suspended for games? Suspended from the Big Ten should be Gus.
He loves Ohio State, man. He loves them.
Right.
I don't know why. It's kind of random.
Yeah.
Like, what ties do you have to Ohio State, Gus? Can you tell us? Gus, do you live in Columbus, Ohio? Doesn't want to tell us.
One of these days.
I'm gonna have to get Kirk Herbstreit crying on here too about his dog. You know what's crazy? I love dogs, and it's sad when a dog dies. But when it's Kirk Herbstreit's dog, I'm like, he's on TV crying. I'm like, Kirk, shut up. Like,
I mean, at least he has feelings for something. I mean,
no one should feel bad for you. You're Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah,
I rewatched the 106. I feel bad for the dog that he became famous through Kirk Herbstreit. That poor dog doesn't know any better.
Right.
I rewatched the 106 championship, and he was silent at the end, and Klatt was hyping us. Oh, yeah.
2016.
So
2016,
even back then. Back then. Good Lord.
Yep. I mean, listen, you're talking about
even
the elite of the elite. Well, I'm saying you're talking about the elite of the elite in college football, and right now it's always the standard, which was Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon. Like, these were at one point USC and Oklahoma. Like, they were at one point where you always had to go to if you wanted to get all the way to the championship, get to the top four, whatever. So it is what it is, dude. But I mean, Penn State has finally shown that they can be is deserving, because we should have won that game against Ohio State. It was just constantly officiating. It was just constant mental mistakes on Penn State's part. I mean, that's the thing. Like, 9 times out of 10, Penn State loses because Penn State beat themselves. Like, that's how they always have played. That's how it's always been Franklin's MO. This is what we're trying to erase. Like, you're trying to make a deep run in the playoffs. And right now, if you're the 5th spot, you're definitely going to do that. Because, again, if you're talking about facing Iowa State or Arizona State, and then you got to go face UNLV or Boise State after that, I mean, what more can you say about that? I mean, it ain't Tennessee. It ain't Georgia. It's not Notre Dame. I mean, you take those other teams and you put them in that game against that. Wow. Why is that? I mean, if we're losing all these guys, I mean, yeah,
we have a tough
I
schedule,
totally get.
but I don't think it's. I think we return a lot of guys, so I think we're going to be better. But we have a really tough schedule. We're at Ohio
Well, I mean,
State. We
listen,
got Oregon.
Yes, I agree with you.
Fine.
I agree with you, Mark. I think they're going to stick around one more year, but you better prepare. I'm just saying, you better prepare guys like Brubella when he takes over for Aller. Like I'm saying, between him and this Luke Reynolds, I like what I see a lot from him as a quarterback, him as a tight end. Like there's still a lot of great things after them. It's like, yeah, they're and what's the kid's name? 24, the running backs. Like you saw the one kid, he got hurt. He's now
Corey Smith, Cam Wallace. We got a lot of guys.
Like you're talking about those guys. It's
Quentin
like,
Martin.
this is I'm just saying these guys have absolutely some of the best runs. Like when they go out in the field and they're doing the fourth quarter, replacement stuff. Like, yeah, they look fast. They look pretty healthy. I like how they have a lot of energy. I like the attitude from this next class coming up. I just feel like there is something still to play for. But now is Bo a sophomore or junior?
He's got 2 more years.
Is it after this or when Aller goes?
Well, he's got 2 more years, so if Aller comes back, he'll be gone after next year, and then Bo will be the starter most likely.
For 1 year.
We also have Grunkmeyer. We have Beckham Kritza coming in. We have that other kid coming in.
Yeah. So, I mean, potentially, I'm just saying, we've got at least 3-4 more years of potential good play. I mean, again, you're talking about the transfer portal. You never know what you're going to get from that. You could get another wide receiver from it. You could get a defensive end that could solidify the line. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could happen for Penn State. Now, again, it's all going to come down to, can they just run the table? Can they make it all the way to the championship? Because, again, recruits and everybody always pays attention to the winners. And it's like, I want to be a part of that culture. And for once, it's like, could you have not only James Franklin have a good recruiting class, but could you have a good place for them to want to be? Because, again, I remember we talked about, you and I, like, what is the draw for State College, PA? That's like, why come here? Why do you, outside of the game of Penn State and the football atmosphere, like, what would you come for? It's like, well, if you put winning involved in that, then obviously it's going to make it so much more attractive. It's like, who cares if you just have a bunch of restaurants to go to downtown? You're going to be a part of a winning culture. That's what it's going to be. And who knows, maybe that winning culture brings in more things that make kids want to come here. I mean, that's where it's all about, dude. Winning constantly evolves everything around it. So I just know that we have a great opportunity for something to happen.
Yeah, we do.
Hey.
Brett.
What's up, guys?
Brett,
I know.
What do you think? Did you see the rankings?
Yeah,
That's what I expected for the most part. But the thing that's annoying, and I'm sure we're all upset about, is let's just slide Alabama in at 11 right now because we think they're great. No, dude, they're not great. They lost to Oklahoma. Get out of here. So, yeah, Alabama in at 11. I hope somebody wins a conference game and they put them in over Alabama. Whoever it's going to be, I don't know. Like I said, I got to look at that. But somebody needs to push them out because they don't deserve it. They don't. They underperformed the whole year. And, yeah.
I mean, Mark just had it up.
That Bama sucks. They should not be at 11. Ole Miss should be above them.
Yeah, we talked about Ole Miss versus Alabama's 9-3, and it's like he brought up the win conference percentage or something like that, and it's like it was like Florida was third, and who was the other team they lost to? Ole Miss. It was Florida, Kentucky, and the other team.
They lost to damn it.
Yeah, Kentucky and Florida and who else?
LSU.
LSU. Yeah, they said about how you look at this like bracket, like Florida was third, LSU was fifth, and Kentucky was sixth. Like, and this whole thing. So it's like, yeah, and you had guys like Vanderbilt and Oklahoma that were way down on that thing. I just feel like it's crazy to think like how you thought that Ole Miss should be out and you should be in because you lost to Ole Miss. And so what if they, don't have the great losses are like they have
Yeah.
not as good win as you do. It's like their losses were against better teams than the other teams you lost against. Like,
I think the best thing that can happen really is like if we beat Oregon and Texas or Georgia, whoever. If Georgia beats Texas, I think, like Alyssa just said, I think the best chance is if Clemson wins and SMU holds 12 and Big 12 goes to 11, because Bama should not be in, man. They should not be in.
No.
There's no reason for them to be in.
And think about this, SMU. I think what's going to happen, if SMU loses the conference game, they might be out. And then who's going to take their spot? Is it going to be Clemson? Does Clemson sneak in there? Because I don't think there's a world where SMU wins and Clemson gets in. But if they lose, is it Clemson? Like, who takes Alabama's spot? I don't know, man. Like, it could be anything could happen right now.
yeah.
All right, guys. Real quick, I want to have a closing time for Gus because I need to get him out of the way so we can see Brett. Brett, do you want to say hi to Gus before he gets off?
You're pathetic. You're washed. And you lost your voice and sound like a little girl. Oh, my God, Jack Sawyer.
He always, yeah, of course. Jack Sawyer,
Terrible.
like, literally catches a football. He's like, oh, my God.
He said, Captain Jack. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? His freaking
make sure
nicknames
everyone
are
can hear.
terrible.
Yeah.
He's so washed. You're washed, bro. Just leave. Don't come back.
Yep.
Hold on,
Wouldn't want to be.
Yeah.
You guys hear it?
Yes.
You two might kick
good
us
old
off.
days.
Classic. It's a classic. You know what the song's actually about, right?
I don't think they can hear it.
Oh,
I can barely hear that.
Closing time was about the guy was about to have a baby, right? So he was saying, I can't be at the bar this much anymore because I'm about to have a child. That's what the song was actually about. Yeah.
Wow. The end of your, bro days. Okay, that's what you're about.
Pretty much.
All right, I think they can hear it.
Oh, dude, I thought it would be more appropriate if it was to hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. To hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. That'd be my song.
Hit the road, Gus. You're pathetic and you're washed. It's funny because he's from the state of Michigan, but he hypes up Ohio State so much. Maybe he doesn't like his home state, man.
Goodbye, Gus. He'll be coming
Adios.
back. I just want him to get out of the way. So if Clemson wins, they actually get in. I can't type tonight. I'm laughing too hard.
Yeah.
Listen, could you hear closing time?
He's blowing up the chat.
I hope they could hear it, man.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, that's a good song. It is.
It's a really good song, yeah.
So, I mean, what's going to really shake up this bracket? Like, from the perspective of you have all the champions
I
that are
don't
going to
understand
win.
why the sound doesn't come through.
Not a
I'm still
clue.
trying to figure that part out.
Oh wait, what we just said is happening. So the committee said SMU could drop below Bama with a loss. Like I said, if SMU needs to win, dude, I think it's better if they win.
Yes.
SMU needs to win.
Hold on. I want to do this one more time. We need to bring Gus back so that we can do this properly.
Okay.
He deserves a proper send-off.
Did you guys talk about Abdul Carter winning 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards for the
We
Big
have
Ten?
not yet, but I have brought up that Tyler Warren won deep tight end of the year.
Tight end of the year. That was the easiest award to give to anybody because he's a freaking alien and he deserves that. But Abdul Carter winning 2 defensive awards is awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hey, guys, hold on. Listen.
Better.
I hope they can hear it. Gus. This is for you. That's it. Gus, get off the screen. You suck. All right.
Suck, Gus.
Audience,
You heard it. Good. You guys heard it. Gave Gus a closing time. That's how you send him off. He's coming back, especially if we beat Oregon.
Yes.
But then if we play Ohio State again, I'll probably keep him off because then God knows what'll happen. But I was saying this today, man, because I think we beat Oregon. I do, and we'll do a pregame Saturday. But if we beat Oregon, right?
Yes.
And I think we've learned from Ohio State. I'm not saying Franklin has because I don't think he learns anything from losses at all. But
No.
you know, we beat Oregon, and Ohio State gets in and they beat whoever. I don't even know if they'll beat Tennessee based off of their last loss. Because Ryan Day's his seat is hot as hell right now. I mean,
It's blistering.
So if we beat Oregon and they beat Texas somehow, right? Or Tennessee, and they play us, I think they're going to be a little timid because we have so much confidence coming off of Oregon. We are at the literally number one team in the country, and Ohio State is timid because they're playing us again, and it's hard to beat a team twice in a year. Now, Ohio State, it's Ohio State. They could beat us with their eyes closed, but because we always play bad against them. But, at the end of the day, I think we beat Oregon, and then if we see Ohio State again, man, I like our chances. Now, I'd never give us total credit at all whatsoever, but I just think I like our chances because if they play us again, man, I just don't think they beat us. But it's Ohio State, so.
That's the thing about Oregon. There's no mental block. We haven't played them in 40 years. There's no mental block, or 35 years, whatever. Yeah, 1996, I think it was.
Well, dude, let's be realistic about this too. What's Oregon done the past few years? Have they had much postseason success?
No, they lost twice last year, man. Twice.
They were in the national title game in 2015. They don't. I'd say we have more experience, especially in the Big Ten title game. And we are the Big Ten. They're not the Big Ten. They're playing a different brand of ball right now. They're playing against totally different teams. I mean, we are the Midwest. They are Oregon. Vegan hippies from out west that play against track people, pretty much. That's what the Pac-12 was. It was just a bunch of track teams playing football, pretty much.
Yeah.
They're playing against totally different ball here.
Yeah.
They're playing people have said it on their show, commented. They said they're playing a blue blood. They're playing we're the mecca of college football.
Right.
You're playing, first of all, the mecca of college football. You're playing a Big Ten team from the Midwest. I mean, we play games in 20-degree weather. You realize you have Steelers fans that are Penn State fans. They were waving terrible towels after the thing that happened with Trump. I don't know if I can say it, but they were waving terrible towels after that happened. It was like a goal line stand. Oh, he got up. He scored. He's alive. They have them cheering for Penn State. I mean, this is real football, man. Jared, what are you pointing at?
Steelers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so those are the guys that are cheering for Penn State, right? I mean, this isn't the Pac-12, man. You're playing against Big Ten. This is football here. There you're playing. So
now again, Indianapolis will be they have a dome, so I mean the weather won't be a factor. So I mean they'll have it whatever condition it'll be in. I feel like what you're going to see is a guy like Gabriel, the quarterback, and again, two guys who are up for a Heisman with Warren versus Gabriel. It's who's going to have the better game? I would like to think that Penn State's defense is going to expose or introduced Gabriel to the Big Ten in a way that you don't want to be introduced to, because this type of defense is not what you normally see with Pac-12. I've always said when Pac-12 was a thing, Big 12 and Pac-12 I always thought were, or Pac-10, was it Pac-10 or Pac-12? I forget.
Pac-12.
Pac-12, yeah. So Pac-12 and Big 12, like they were always offensive driven, like big offensive plays all the time, and no defense. Like that's really what they were used to. So yeah, I mean Oregon wants to score, and I think they can. But you're going to talk about heavy hitters. I mean, if Oregon Ducks are like a Jeep Wrangler, then the Penn State Nittany Lions are going to be like a Hummer. Like they're going to be a freaking tank compared to what you're used to. They're going to smash you in the face, and you're not going to like it. Like that's what I'm counting on with this big matchup, where it's like, what's going to be the deciding factor? It's like the Penn State's big, huge rush guys. Like again, do I expect Abdul Carter and company to have a sack or two? Yes, I do expect them to get through their line. So yeah, it's interesting matchup because Oregon, Penn State. Now when Penn State came into the Big Ten in '93. Like they finally joined the conference in '93, and it was always the question of Michigan and Ohio State as the standard in the Big Ten, and all of a sudden Penn State put their name in the ring, and I think we showed to be kind of around, who was it, like Wisconsin or like, and there was another big, like Iowa, like there was like a couple of teams. It's like, well, you're in this bracket in this Big Ten level, and finally it's like now we have reached, we're like the third or second best team in the Big Ten every year, and now Oregon's coming in and they're number one over everybody. They didn't lose a game this year, but now it's like it's an interesting story because again, you're talking about a new team that's joined the Big Ten. We've been in the Big Ten for 31 years now. I just feel like it would be so appropriate for Penn State to face Oregon, a rematch of the Rose Bowl, where it's like we just became a Big Ten team, and then we face these guys again, where now they're in our conference, and I feel like this is going to be such a statement for them. I do see us beating this team for sure. So could we be number one after this? I really do think we can.
Let me add on to that, Jared. So Alyssa's got a good point, too. So, Gabriel, they try to get the ball out in 2.2 seconds. Yes. So here's the kicker. We have a good run defense most of the time. Our run defense is better than their run defense. If we stop their running, because they like to run the ball more than they pass if they can get the run going. The problem is if they can't run the ball, they're going to get behind and they're going to have to throw the whole time. The more we make them one-dimensional and throw the ball, they're not going to get that thing out in 2.2 seconds all the time. We're going to get pressure, and that's how we win. We win by stopping the run, and then we run on them. That's how we win.
I mean, here's the thing, too, guys, is Oregon beat Ohio State, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that was Ohio State's worst defensive effort because if you look at what they did in any other game, their defense was suffocating people. That game, they got outplayed.
All right, like I said, Oregon beat Ohio State, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who did Ohio State just lose to?
Michigan.
So, what's that say? Oregon hasn't played anybody, man. They almost lost to Wisconsin on the road.
Yeah, it's any given Saturday, man. Stuff can happen. It's crazy.
It can.
Nobody's elite right now. Nobody's elite.
Like Oregon, man, I'm telling you, like I don't think they're that good. I'm not saying we're gonna beat them. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but you know who I think it's gonna come down to, man? Like who I think it's gonna come down to, like in this game, is Ryan Barker, man.
Yeah,
Ryan Barker.
Ryan Veins Barker. Right, he's been incredible.
Right there.
He's been incredible.
Ryan Barker. That's who it's gonna come down to.
He's been incredible, man. Like he hit a 49 last week, right? No problem down the middle. No problem.
Yep.
That's who it's coming down to right there, Ryan Barker.
Ice in his veins. And guess what? There's no wind. It's in a dome. He's good to go.
Yep.
He did that in the wind last weekend. It was freezing. Yes. It was windy. Didn't matter. Yep. Ice in his veins, man. There should be a plethora of women at his door after the game. There should be like 15 or 20 of them just lined up, ready to go. They might even have a testing line before that. test, please. Make sure you're good before you come in. I'm not.
How many are going through the uprights? How many are going through the uprights? That's what we want to know.
I was gonna say, like, you watched. What game was it? Well, just the NFL in general, man. You watch the NFL, and then you're like, man, Chris Boswell is really good. Like, he's the best kicker in the NFL right now.
Yes,
Parker's
sir.
the same way. Like, he's good. He's really good. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's going to come down to him, man. What it's
Fantastic.
going to come down to, I think, is who makes more field goals. That's really what I think it comes down to, because I think it's going to be pretty high scoring.
Or who gets more touchdowns and doesn't? Yeah, who gets more touchdowns in the red zone? I think both teams will go down the field, but who gets the touchdowns and who gets the field goals? If all we're doing is getting the field goals, then yeah, we're going to lose this game. But if it comes down to we got more touchdowns than them, and we need Ryan just to ice them out, I got Penn State. 28 to 24 is like, if I were to make a prediction right now, it should be a low-scoring defensive effort. That's what it should be. But 28-24 is like right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this, and I think it would be interesting if it happened. I'm going to predict that there is going to be a big defensive turnover that causes a touchdown. I think it's either going to be a pick six or it's going to be a tackle and sack and fumble, weak recover, run it back. Like, I think something of that nature will happen for the defense. I think Aller's going to have...
We need it to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Aller is going to have a kind of game that would put him in the area of 230, 240. I mean, not huge numbers, but something that was respectable.
Yep. And that's the way we want to win the game. Is I know it can get boring when with Kolnicki we'll methodically go down the field and burn clock, and we'll that's how we want to play this game. We want to take it out of Oregon's hands and not let them touch the frickin' ball. We want to ground and pound, time of possession. That's how we win this game. If we score quickly, that's great, but I don't like our chances that way because that's not sustainable for us. That's not how we play football. We ground and pound, we burn the clock, and we suck the soul out of your whole body. That's how we do it.
Well, again, we're historically always known for being a second half team, so I feel like this is where you're going to go with it. So, I mean, if you can put yourself in a position to be like 13-10, 17-13, something of that nature at halftime. If you're
some nasty, gritty,
and then all of a sudden it's like, you take the next drive like 7-8 minutes plus and kick a field goal. I mean, that would keep the offense off the field long enough where it's like our defense. Yeah, that would definitely be a fantastic thing for our defense to like go on there and just have the rest that they need for the game and just finish everything up. So, I mean, again, you tell me outside of Oregon, if we win this game, who do they have that they would probably be afraid of to play? I mean, I'm looking at maybe two teams. I told Mark that it's like either Notre Dame or Georgia. Those would be the only two teams where it's like, I have no idea what would happen if we played them. Everybody else, I feel like I have a pretty good idea of how it would go down if we were to win and play them, and win.
Yep. Alyssa's got some good points here. He's been chatting it up. So, look, let's start with this.
My bad, Alyssa. I'm falling behind.
Yep. He said, I really think for us, Singleton and Allen get cooking, then if they get going, then we cook them. And I think that's true. That's how Boise State almost beat them. That's how you got to do it. Gabriel likes to throw interceptions in the red zone, which is the worst place to throw them, because that means they're about to score and then we take points away from them. That would be something to look for. Reed, go for it. Yep.
All right, listen. Here's the thing. So I am too. But here's the thing. I played Oregon, and it's a game, but I played in I think it was the playoff against Oregon on NCAA Football 25. And literally the Oregon was passing all over us. They were beating the living crap out of me. I was down, I think, 3 touchdowns at one point. You know what I did? I went into prevent defense. We were down like 27-3, I think.
Holy crap.
I went into prevent defense and I beat them like 45-27.
Well,
Singleton had like 4 touchdowns. So literally all you got to do against Oregon, play the pass. That's it. And I think Gabriel will screw up, man. Oregon is not that good. Dylan Gabriel, I think, is overrated. This is all due respect to Oregon, but I think they're overrated, and we're gonna beat them. I mean, I don't see how we can't. I think at the end it comes down to field goals, and I think we win by. Would you say, Brett? 34-27?
28-24 is what I'm
28-24.
I think it's going to be like 31-27 or something like that. Like, we're going to score. I think we hit the 30s. Because is Oregon's defense really that good? I don't think they are.
No, they give up 16 and a half per game. We give up 14. So
what it's going to come down to, because I don't think Aller's going to make many mistakes. He hasn't all year. And it's not going to change against Oregon. So I think it's going to come down to his our O-line versus their D-line, like Alyssa said. And then field goals. I mean, I think our defense is going to be just fine.
Aller's going to rush for the first down like he's been doing all year. If he gets pressured, he's gone.
I'm telling you, man, all they need to do, score points and play the pass on defense. That's it. If they play the pass, man, because I think Tom Allen knows Tony Rojas and Kobe King, whoever he has the linebacker, you're playing pass first, but they're going to run the ball, but you're playing pass first. Tony Rojas is a safety this game. Like, he's like a backdoor defensive back, man. He is. We're going to have pretty much 6 defensive backs on the field.
Yep.
And then, who knows? They might even have 7 defensive backs. 4 linemen down. 4 linemen down, right? And then, like, essentially 7 defensive backs. That's what they're going to have. I mean, you need 2 defensive backs like Rojas and another legit defensive back that can tackle, play the run, and you're good.
AJ Harris.
There's no way they score on us, man. There's no way.
AJ Harris is really good.
I mean, a lot. Like, they can't. I think we have the upper hand totally in this game.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear something funny about? You said you played them in the game. Fun fact: I played Oregon last night. Guess who I played them with? Guess what team I was? San Diego State. Listen to these stats, dude. You guys are gonna cry. Oregon. I beat Oregon 42-7 on All-American mode with San Diego State, and maybe it's just an anomaly game, but I murdered them. I shut the. Guess how many total yards Oregon had on me? Because they were trying to pass the ball over me, and I was ready for it. They had 91 total yards on me. And check it, I had 460 yards on them.
Oh my God!
I picked Gabriel off twice. Yeah, he was not his day. I beat them 42-7 with San Diego State, dude. Over 80 in the game.
Dude, and honestly, what it comes down to is guys like Jalen Kimber. You know, when he tackled that guy against West Virginia. Kind of guys like that who are like competitive.
Yeah,
right.
I'm so glad they caught that on the mic because that was so fun.
I've seen him be lazy though. After that game, like he killed it that game. I've seen him just like mosey around and like I don't know what he's doing, man. But he's the only reason we had 7 points scored against us on Maryland. Maryland threw it right down his throat. It was man-to-man coverage. That we have to play zone coverage against them because man-to-man they'll beat us. They have really good receivers. They do. They have Tez Johnson. They have what's his name? Bolden and Evan Stewart. Fantastic receivers. So we got to play zone against them. We can't mess around. Tony Rojas is looking much better the last 2 games. Like you said, his coverage skills. He had that perfect interception last week. That's his 2nd pick of the year as a linebacker, which that's really good. That's more than some of our corners do.
So going off of what we're talking about right now, and I need to get off soon, but going off of what we're talking about right now, okay, if we beat Oregon, we're going to see most likely either Ohio State or Tennessee. So does Ohio State beat Tennessee? I don't know if they do. Like, they're demoralized right now.
I don't know.
There's legit Ohio State fans, and I literally commented on Instagram, thank you for being honest, on some of them, because they were like, we don't deserve to get in, and if we do, we're not going to win. So, does Ohio State beat Tennessee, first of all?
Probably.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know, man. Josh Heupel and that quarterback.
Maybe not.
Oh, okay. OSU wins. So do we beat Ohio State then?
Yeah, we do. We beat them this time because we got.
Right.
You know what it is. This is what it is. Franklin. I like snobby James Franklin. The way he woke up after it was the Minnesota game. It struck a fire under his butthole. And dude, like what he did after the Maryland game, he was like, "Not my problem. We're playing football. Yeah. Not my problem." He dropped his nuts. He dropped them.
He's been like that all year, though, man. He's been like that all year. He has.
He's changed. Yeah, but like before the Ohio State game, he was just more kind and his normal self. After that, losing again obviously is demoralizing. But then after the Minnesota win, he's ready to go now. When we showed
the coverage of him coming off the field and they were booing him, I think that really pissed him off.
Yeah, it should.
Well, listen, I think that what you're saying, Brett, is very true about where I agree. I think that when you hear how he spoke after that Maryland game, it is a typical James Franklin kind of response, but there was a sense of anger in that voice. Like there was something about how he was delivering that moment where it's like, listen, I am running out of reasons why I can't be who I am. This is how I want to talk to you. And I just, for some reason, have been like trying to censor myself. It's like, now you can't do it because I feel like now we know we have something to play for. Because now because we found out that Ohio State lost to Michigan. I really do think that is the thing that really set a fire under him, where it's like, listen, we know what is expected of us. We have to run up the score. I don't really care if that's not what you want to see. We have to show that whatever we have is the best version of ourselves. So, like, look, we scored against Maryland's first team with our backups and third strings. Like, that's ridiculous. I think that is something to be said about what Penn State has really to go into in the championship, and going into the playoffs. This is so important for you to establish yourselves as a team that wants to kick the barn door down, or at least come into this place saying, here I am, I'm ready to play. Are you? Like, that's the thing. I think we're finally seeing a coach that wants to challenge the other team to beat them. Where it's like, I don't know if we can beat them. It's like, no, I want you to beat us. I want you to find the way to win against our best version of ourselves. So It is different. I feel like that is the way that it should be. There are some people in this world that it's like when they are assholes, they are just so much better at what they do. Like, again, I'm a movie guy. Let's face it. When is a movie that you've ever seen that Ben Stiller played when he wasn't an asshole, that it wasn't a great character he played? I just feel like there are a lot of times where when he plays a nice guy or a timid dude, it's just not a great movie. But whenever he is the sarcastic, snarky son of a bitch, I just feel like it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. That's what it is. Like, there are just some people that own that persona. And I feel like that James Franklin, be Ben Stiller against the Oregon Ducks.
He had me laughing on that, dude.
I watched Meet the Parents the other day again, and then there's Dodgeball. And then I watched Tropic Thunder the other day, too.
Yeah.
Meet the Parents is really good, but Dodgeball is really good. And then, what's that movie? It's called, like, Fat Camp or whatever, where he's that.
Oh, Heavyweights.
Heavyweights. That's a great movie, too, man.
Yes. He's just that guy in a different movie.
Oh, Reed got second team. Yeah, right. Reed. You guys saw the first team and second team and third team. Yeah, Reed got second.
Reed has deleted X.
Yeah,
he'll post, then delete. They are fired up.
Absolutely.
What did he delete?
X, Twitter. It's called X now. That's what he deleted.
Yeah, I know, but Reed has deleted X post, and he'll post, then delete. I'm not sure what he's saying.
It's probably bulletin board material, stuff people talking.
Jalen Reed apparently deleted a comment that's saying we were hyped up about something. Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna watch Steelers on HBO here.
Okay.
They're on tonight.
Oh, they're on tonight.
Knox, baby. Yeah. I'm so pumped.
Oh,
right now.
Did you know the ESPN predictor is giving Penn State the edge to win? Did you guys see that?
I said that. Yes, I did say that.
The ESPN predictor has, I think they're putting the travel into it. Penn State has like a 52% chance to win or something like that. So it's funny how Oregon's favored, but ESPN gives us the chance to win. So It's
Yeah,
telling.
he was mad about the finalists.
Yep.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh,
His stats best in the league. They are. But
Oh, okay.
all right, guys. Anything else?
I think we're good, bud.
No.
Go Penn State.
All right.
Let's
We
go
are.
duck hunting. Let's go duck hunting right now. Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Duck season.
We signed
All right.
Gus off. He will be back at some point. Saturday we'll do pregame and postgame, and yeah, I don't think Brett's going to the game, so there are cheap tickets. Alyssa was saying there's some that are 12, there's some that are 18. Brett sent me.
Cheap. That's pretty sick, though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was funny last night. Brett and I talked back and forth so much that I think at one point, Brett, you sent me like 3 things, and you were like, "Yo, are you good?"
Yeah, I didn't hear from you for a while. I'm like, you good, man?
And like I said earlier, I had the flu last week, and I'm still. And
Ear
that developed
I'm getting
into
over something myself.
an ear and sinus infection,
Terrible.
which I got last night. I got an antibiotic and a steroid.
Once
So
those
I feel
hit, you're
better. I'm
good.
feeling better,
Yep.
but man, I'm just like
Dude.
nasally right now.
Ear infection when it starts is the most awful thing. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
and that's the thing, man. Like this time last year, I had to take a Z pack because I had a chest cold and that stuff wasn't going out of my lungs.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I usually get sick like once a year. Like Jared was saying earlier, it's usually bad when I do get sick. But like this infection stuff in your sinuses, you can't get rid of that, man. Like when I went to the doctor last night, she goes, "Do your ears hurt?" I was like, "No." She's like, "Well, you have an ear infection." I was like, "Really?" And she got this like thing, and it was like this special tool, and she pulled out, it was like earwax, but it was like infection in my ear. It was like this big, like it was a lot.
No.
She's like, "Look at
not
that!
to go into,
Look at that!"
No, not to go into a story, but like I remember many years ago, I went to a clinic where they're like, "We're gonna do a procedure to you. You can't hear out of this one ear." I'm like, "Not really." They're like, "All right, we're gonna set you on the side." So I went like that, and they put something around me, and they took this thing out that looked like a advanced like neti pot thing, and they shoved it in there, and all of a sudden they just start seeing this thing just like going like this, and you hear, it sounded like water going inside, and they said, "When it starts to hurt, stop." And I mean, they did at least a dozen pumps. And I mean, it was literally right before they said, "We got it." Like I was literally about to raise my hand to tell them to stop because I just could not take whatever more they were doing. And they said, "We got it." And they had it in like this little dish and they said, "Do you want to see it?" I looked in there. Again, I'm not going into detail, but I'm like, "That what was in my head?" I went, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's nuts." Like, again, for 3 straight years, I had the best hearing on earth. Like, it was amazing.
Yeah, and it's
crazy.
do. It's crazy how much when you take antibiotics, how much it pushes out. Like I've been blowing my nose all day, and it's just been a lot. And I'm like, man, like I can't believe like that's how much is in there, and that's how much is pushing out because that's a sinus infection. Like you have an infection, and you have to get rid of it. But man, like modern medicine stuff like that, that's just insane that you can take a steroid and like an antibiotic and it just totally changes you. It's crazy, but
It is.
yeah, guys, there's nothing else.
Yep.
Like I said, watching Steelers HBO tonight, and then we will see you Saturday for pregame. So
Yep.
We are.
Penn State.
thanks for coming on, Brett.
Let's kill some ducks.